Hi, my name's Nancy Gillum, and I'm the director of the Model Forest Policy Program. And I appreciate you listening to this presentation today. I imagine you're likely somebody who's already seen climate changes in your area. Are you seeing less water in the summer? Or are you having more intense storms or flooding? Or perhaps you're somebody who's worried that your community isn't acting fast enough to address climate change impacts. Many communities are telling us that they are running out of water and that they're experiencing that their aquifer tables are getting lower, and planners are searching for cost-effective ways to protect their residents from these problems. I hope I'll have some answers for you today. Our organization, the Model Forest Policy Program, has been in existence for 10 years, maximizing the benefits of forest conservation for communities. Together, our staff has over 75 years combined experience working with communities and private landowners to find ways to get maximum use and benefits from forests. Many local governments are already in action, creating climate plans because they can already see directly the impacts of our changing climate. And they are certain they want to protect their citizens, their way of life, and their resources. But in this difficult economy, local planners are looking for low-cost solutions to protect their water resources. The problem is they're often overlooking the role of forests as the most economical way to increase clean drinking water and to provide protection from drought and flooding. I want to give you just a quick overview of the essential relationships between climate, forests, and water. That relationship that's often being overlooked. So first, what is global warming? Well, as you remember, it's the greenhouse effect. As we increase gases in our atmosphere, those gases trap the sun's heat, not allowing much of the sun's energy to go back out into space. That trapped energy from the sun is causing our temperatures to rise. We're seeing from ice core samples that over the last 650,000 years, there is a direct correlation between CO2 levels going up and down and temperatures following a similar pattern. Depending on the models and where you are on the Earth's surface, projections are that we could see a 2 to 11 degree increase in our temperatures, resulting in impacts to water. And of course, the resulting threat to public health and safety. Recent examples show us, such as in Fargo and in Washington State in December, what the damage of too much water looks like, and the resulting drinking water being very limited. Or we're seeing impacts such as drought, a threat to world security, and we're already seeing impacts in the United States, such as in Atlanta, the Southwest, and in California. So while most people know that our current CO2 levels are increasing due to the burning of fossil fuels, it's also the burning of forests, particularly tropical forests. But forests are also part of the solution. The solutions come in two forms: mitigation, or reducing the impacts of our CO2 levels, and also adaptation solutions, how we're going to adjust. Forests are key to both those strategies. So forests help the climate solutions in two ways. They store carbon through photosynthesis, and they provide and protect our water resources. This is probably the most important slide in my presentation today. 2/3 of all U.S. fresh water originates on forested land. Or said another way, 180 million people get their drinking water sourced out of forested lands. And so forests protect our water quality and quantity by sponging up through the soil water, storing it in groundwater, and preventing flooding. Thus, it's really important to work with local communities on their land use codes and practices so that they maximize forest cover and watershed protection. So I'd like to give you an overview of our solution strategy. We're calling it a program in a box. And we're helping create climate plans that would help your community grow while maximizing at the same time the benefits from your forests and simultaneously minimizing your risk factors from the impacts of climate change. So let me ask you this. What's the cost of doing nothing? What will it cost your community to not fix these problems? Or say it differently, how will Atlanta get more water, and what will that cost? What will it cost Fargo to protect itself from future floods, and what's that going to cost? Or how does the drying Southwest get enough water to sustain its rising populations? If you're concerned about these issues, drought, flooding, increased wildfire, or an aging infrastructure that's not equipped to manage these kinds of intense storms, then our planning curriculum can help you solve these problems in a very cost-effective manner. Preserving forests is one of the most cost-effective solutions. So I want to tell you about our Climate Planners Program in a Box. It's an online coaching process that will help your community grow while reducing its risk from climate change. It's a simple step-by-step roadmap that will help make your planning process easier, more streamlined, and provide the absolute best practices as recommendations for your own community forest and water climate plan. So here are the steps. First of all, each community will need to create a forest water team, and we can help suggest who ought to be on that team. That team's responsibility then becomes to assess your local forest and water risks. Where are you vulnerable? Step 3 begins to be then determining what are the solutions at a local level that best suit your community. And finally, we'll help you develop support for your plan so that you can get it passed, implemented, and evaluated. And what are the benefits of the program in a box? Well, we can jumpstart your planning process with our own streamlined framework that will result in protection of the health and safety of your citizens, an increased reliable drinking water source and plan. Obviously, you'll be reducing your greenhouse gases through sequestering of carbon. We'll help you reduce the planning costs and work within your budget, which is much easier to do as a nonprofit. You'll work as a community of others addressing these solutions versus having to do this alone and trying to reinvent the wheel yourself. And you're going to learn from a community of people who've already been in the forest and water climate fields for their careers. And finally, you can position your community for future federal stimulus funds and for green businesses that might want to relocate to communities with this kind of consciousness. Within the next few months, we will be selecting a limited number of communities to work with. These communities will benefit by having this program tailored to their unique needs. If your community is selected, we'll give you model policies, recommended best practices, case studies, and coach your community to complete a forest and water climate plan. We'll do that through online education, group calls, one-on-one sessions, and be available to consult in your community. People will not only learn from our experts, but from each other. So I want to thank you for listening to my presentation today, and look for our future presentations that are coming out soon that will cover how to create a forest and water climate team and an overview of forest and water policies. I'd love to hear from you personally about what your community is up to and how we might benefit you. So please contact me, Nancy Gillum, at information@mfpp.org, or go to our website, mfpp.org. Thank you.